Hi everyone, today I'm here to analyze the film that Scarlett and I have created. This video is a CCR, or a creative critical reflection, that pretty much goes over everything that my partner and I have done over the process of filming our movie. However, it will just be me today talking in the video. Beginning with the title sequence, we decided to format the title and credits on a black screen with white lettering. While the credits run, there is the sound of a guitar being played in the background, while it shows who's in the film and into the title. When the title is displayed, we hear a full chord being played to show that the credits are over and the film is about to begin. We got this idea from the movie The Perks of Being a Wallflower because it was a really big influencer when we started thinking about what genre we wanted to use and then following into the rest of the development of our movie. In Perks' title sequence, there is an ambient sound of a typewriter signifying that it was important in the movie. This is what we wanted to do with the guitar because it signified that it was important in the film. And it was because the first 2 minutes of our character, Beck, is playing the guitar. For the mise-en-scène aspect of creating our movie, we wanted the look and feel to be aesthetically pleasing. Many coming-of-age movies have more of an indie feel to it, but we wanted to take a different approach that was moodier, more grunge, and definitely nostalgic. To pull this off, we wanted the film to have darker lighting and costumes that we took from that gave a 90s grunge feel. For Jax's character, we got inspiration from her costuming from Courtney Love, while for Beck's character, we took her looks from Kurt Cobain, since she's the less feminine character in our movie. Now looking at the cinematography aspect of making our film, we had a lot of moving shots such as a pan of both characters which served both as an establishing shot as well as adding action to our movie. Along with the pan shots, we had a lot of inserts to highlight the more aesthetic aspects of the character's room that signifies their personalities because they do contrast. We did close-ups and mid-shots on the characters performing actions such as applying makeup, smoking, or playing the guitar for the same reasons. After production, we moved on to post-production and editing. We really wanted to follow parallel editing because of the fact that it was a way we could really highlight the contrast even more between the two of the characters while showing they are somehow connected even though we may not know why yet. We had this in mind as well while we were shooting, which is why a lot of the shots are the same and line up when you watch the film. Editing is also where we color corrected our film to have a nostalgic feeling that was extremely important. We wanted the color palette to be of those that you would normally see in a sunset because it's something that many people tend to go back on and reminisce on and reflect on the feelings that you had during the time when you saw the sunset. This is why we color corrected the movie to have warmer tones like oranges, yellows, pinks, and blues. For the sound, pretty much all of our audio was the ambient sound of the guitar being played during the credits, the organic diegetic sound of Beck going to grab her guitar and beginning to play it, the record spinning, to which then it goes into the main sound of the film, which is a song called Cigarette Daydreams. The song in the clip starts out as diegetic, but then turns into non-diegetic as Beck puts down her guitar and Jack puts down her cigarette and they both leave the frame. Through the use of mise-en-scène, cinematography, editing, and sound, the classic genre conventions of a coming-of-age film are represented in Adolescent, however, just with a twist. For example, when we talked pretty much on what our movie is about. We said how Jax used to be a popular teenage girl, but after being cheated on, she outcasted herself and became someone who is angry towards life, purposeful in her actions, and pretty much just does anything to try to be different from everyone else. Jax's character fits that outcast that is pretty much the main character of any coming-of-age movie. Beck does as well because she is more outgoing, artistic, and eccentric, to which later in the movie she opens up so many things to Jax. We wanted our film to be more grunge, kind of like Heathers, but not gory at all. The other aspect of Jax smoking at the beginning of the movie is another genre convention because in coming-of-age films, the main characters try at least some form of drug, alcohol, anything under that like specific area. And which we can tell because she does not know like how to light a cigarette right at all. So we know that that's probably like the first time of her ever trying a cigarette. Another thing that is just like any other coming of age movie is the nostalgia present in it that gives the viewers a sort of melancholy feeling. This is because at least one point in our lives we have experienced something like the characters in Adolescent, just maybe in different ways. So after we came up with the concept of Adolescent, wrote the screenplay, and pretty much did as much research as possible on coming of age films, we started to really think about who we wanted to produce and distribute our movie. When Scarlett and I researched and watched many of coming of age films, we paid really close attention to who produced those movies, and then later we'd research who distributed them. The main companies we were looking at were Mr. Mudd Productions, Summit Entertainment, A24, and Lionsgate. Mr. Mudd just produced his films. Summit Entertainment produces and distributes films. However, it is owned by Lionsgate. And A24 produces and distributes movies as well. All of these companies would have allowed great exposure for our film, but we in the end chose A24 because the main movies that were produced and distributed through that company were coming of age films, so we felt like that would be the best fit for our movie. For example, they have produced Lady Bird, Mid-90s, 8th Grade, and Moonlight. To market our film out to the people, we will create movie posters, trailers and teasers, and social media accounts that we can promote out to the public to catch their attention and make them more interested in our movie. Along with that, we will use some of our cross-media and synergy strategies along as creating a soundtrack for our film and merchandise that we can sell in the stores. Adolescent will be exhibited initially through film festivals such as Sundance to gain popularity before releasing it widespread. We thought this means that exhibition would work better first because our movie is low budget. After the film festival, we plan to release our movie to select theaters across the nation. As Adolescent grows, we eventually want to be able to sell DVDs and reach other platforms such as Netflix, iTunes, and even home entertainment. Our target audience will be teenagers, people in their mid-20s to above, because we feel as though anyone could relate to our movie because we were all teenagers at one point in their lives, or some of our viewers may even be teenagers now. Even though our audience may have not experienced the same things as Beck and Jax have exactly in our film, we want the characters to come alive and sort of represent the audience as they were in their childhood or even as they are now, kind of like in their own specific way. During the filmmaking process, we used a lot of different technologies. Mainly to film our movie, we used my camera, which was a Nikon Coolpix B500. We used a condenser mic that Mr. Engel let us record to record the sound of Scarlett playing the guitar. The other sounds, such as the record spinning, were recorded by an iPhone X because it picked up the quiet static better. The soundtrack of the different recording of the guitar being played was recorded through GarageBand, which is another technology we used, and the film was put together and edited on iMovie. I learned how to use GarageBand, which I had never even used or pretty much looked at before this project. And I also learned how to use a condenser mic because before recording the record on my iPhone, I tried using the mic, but it didn't pick up the sound as good. I also learned how to create a legit movie on iMovie while also learning how to edit my film along the way. I never looked up how to use any of these technologies. I kind of just figured it out on my own and had Scarlett's help or asked my teacher if I really needed to. Overall, this project was a really big learning experience, and I definitely became a better filmmaker than I was at the beginning of the class. Before I took media studies, all I pretty much knew how to do was sit down and watch a movie, but not necessarily really know how to watch it. I didn't know how to record a legit camera that wasn't on my iPhone, so obviously I did not know how to make a movie, or even know where to start, for that matter. After about halfway during the class, though, when I learned about each aspect of what it takes to make a movie when you create it, I had a better idea. I learned that the process of filmmaking is very long, very articulate, and very difficult. Making a movie takes a lot of planning, and even if you have a plan like a screenplay or at least a decent storyboard, your whole idea on how you want to shoot your movie could literally change the second you go to shoot, which happened to us a lot of times. I learned that you have to be very careful and pay close attention to what you already have shot if you go and reshoot again, because everything has to look exactly the same. Scarlett and I had to reshoot twice after our first day of filming, and that included completely reshooting and changing Beck's part of the film. However, when we actually were shooting, directing wasn't that hard because we both knew what we wanted and how we wanted our movie to look. And we had an agreement on pretty much every idea that we came up with. I think editing was the easiest part of this process, in my opinion, because when we were shooting, we started putting the videos together already to see if they made sense. So it was really easy to edit because all we had to do was record it and put it in iMovie and just trim it to fit the 2-minute interval that we needed for our film. So after the whole process was over and we completed our movie, I feel as though I'm definitely a better and more skilled filmmaker. I learned how to shoot, direct, and film shots that actually had a meaning to more than just myself. I also learned how to work iMovie efficiently along with the help of Scarlett because we pretty much worked on it together when we had time in class. However, I mainly filmed, acted, worked on the order of the clips, trimming them, and adding sound to it, while Scarlett recorded the sound, film, acted, and color corrected during the movie. So together we pretty much did the same amount of work, and we pretty much helped each other with everything that we did. So we helped each other out a lot, and we both put a lot of hard work and effort into making this movie. Overall, this project was unlike anything I have ever done before in any of my classes. And even though being a filmmaker was really aggravating at times, it was still a really cool experience. So thank you for watching my CCR and allowing me to go more in depth on my experience on everything I've learned. Now take a look at my next blog post to finally in all caps, see Adolescent come to life in the first 2 minutes of the movie. Thanks again.